الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما ظلمونا ولكن كانوا أنفسهم يظلمون سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. When you look at people who want to excel in something, then they take advantage of every single opportunity that comes before them. And when they miss an opportunity, they have massive regret over that. So for example, if there's somebody that would like to establish a business and they're setting up the foundations of that business and they begin to make a product and they begin to sell that product, they will not miss a single opportunity to push that product one step forward. Every opportunity to market, every opportunity to advertise, every opportunity to develop the product, every opportunity to meet with someone who can help them develop that product, they see that as an opportunity. And they never miss an opportunity because every opportunity leads to another opportunity. This is the mantra of people in the business world. And it's such a dogma, it's such a central principle of business that if you lose an opportunity, they actually have a name for that, and they call that opportunity cost. So for example, they say that if you could do A, but you go and do something, go and do B, and A would have provided you with some benefit, then they say, well, you have to weigh the opportunity cost. How much does it cost me to not do this? How much does it cost me to not do that? So people who are in the business world are so fixated on every opportunity and taking advantage of every opportunity that even when they miss an opportunity, they calculate what the cost was, and they call that the opportunity cost. SubhanAllah, this is the people of the business world, but the same principle applies to people in the struggle towards deen. When a person recognizes the fact that deen is the business of the believer, when a person recognizes the fact that the deen is the business of the believer, then they never miss an opportunity to take advantage of earning Allah's pleasure. Anytime they have an opportunity, whether it be day, whether it be night, there is no free moment. There is no moment of relaxation. For example, when Yusuf alayhi salam was in the prison, then he's doing da'wah to the people in the prison, there was just a little bit of time before the food was supposed to come. But he didn't even waste that time. Even before the food while they were waiting for the food, he began to tell the people about their deen. Every opportunity, took advantage of every opportunity. You see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, every opportunity he had to talk to people about the deen, he spoke about the deen. And they saw this as an opportunity, and when they missed it, there was tremendous regret. Tremendous regret. Now you look at the Sahaba, the way that they used to rank themselves. Now human beings have a natural tendency to rank. We rank based on wealth, we rank based on intelligence, we rank based on color, we rank based on height, we rank based on strength. People have all these different ways, whether they're appropriate or inappropriate, that can be debated, and history has shown when things were done appropriately and when things were done inappropriately. But it's human nature to rank, to classify people and to cut people into different groups. Sahaba, they did the same thing. They ranked one another. And one of the major mechanisms by which they ranked one another was not based on color of skin, was not based on height, was not based on strength, was not based on quote-unquote beauty. One way by which they ranked each other was earliness in entering Islam. The person who entered Islam before me, let's say there's a person A and person B entered Islam before, that person was automatically more elevated. He was automatically seen as someone better than me. Why? Because Allah gave him the opportunity to enter the deen even if it was 5 minutes before I did. So they saw every moment in the deen as such an opportunity that if somebody entered the deen a few minutes before me, that person had a greater status. Now you look at the Sahaba, the first few who entered into the deen, what their rank is. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, one of the earliest people to enter into the deen, and you see so many people came because of him, and all the reward is going back to him. Again, opportunity. The Sahaba said, they didn't just say, okay, well, if you're a Muslim, you're just sort of a lame duck. You're just sitting there, and so it doesn't matter how long you're a Muslim. No. Those people took advantage of every moment in their deen. And when they took advantage of every moment in their deen, it separated them from one another. So that you have the people who were early, the people who were from Mecca, the people who were from Medina, the people who were first, the people who were last. All of this has a tremendous weight in the way that the Sahaba viewed one another because of the opportunities. So from this, what we have to recognize is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts before each and every believer opportunities. And it's up to the believer to take advantage of them. And if we don't take advantage of them, we should see it as a lost opportunity. We should feel bad about it. If there's a businessman and he knows that he's got a product, okay? Let's say there's a person, he sells clothing at a flea market. All right? And it rains that day, so he thinks, he wakes up in the morning and he sees it's raining and he says, it's a rainy day today. There'll probably be very few people at the market. I won't go today. All right? Then what happens? He doesn't go, he's very comfortable. Now, later on in the afternoon, he goes out and he meets his friend, and his friend says, where were you? So he says, I took the day off, it was raining, nobody's there. He said, are you crazy? This was the most crowded day I could remember in 6 months. Then the person kicks himself. He says, what? What do you mean it was so crowded? How many? How crowded? Was the parking lot full? How full? People were, he wants to know every detail. He's sitting there regretting, remorsing over every single moment that he could have been making sales. So same thing with us. And our business is the deen. Every moment that we miss an opportunity, we should feel horrible about that. If we miss a prayer in the masjid, it may be halal. It may be halal that we prayed the prayer outside of the masjid. We're not debating that. But if we miss a prayer in the masjid, we miss the opportunity to earn that much more reward. If we leave out a sunnah, yes, it may be just a sunnah. We can see it that way. If I pray my fajr prayer, but I don't pray the sunnah of the fajr, we could just sort of say, well, at least I prayed the farad. Or we can say, wait a minute, I missed on an amazing opportunity. Because the most valuable of all of the sunnah prayers is the sunnah before fajr. And instead we're barely making fajr, let alone the sunnah of fajr. It's an opportunity. It's a missed opportunity. If a person's in a rush and they don't have the time to pray the sunnah after dhuhr, because they've created in their own psyche a rush. There's no such rush, but in their own mind they've created this rush. I've got to hurry up and get done with this so I can go on to do the next thing. Then they missed an opportunity. If I had $10 in my pocket and I could have spent it on someone else and I spent it on myself, I missed an opportunity. One time the Prophet ﷺ came, Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, she had collected some meat. And the Prophet ﷺ met her and said, after the meat had been cooked and a few hours later, what happened to that meat that you received? She said, most of it remains. Most of it remains because most of the meat was there. And the Prophet ﷺ explained that no, most of it doesn't remain, most of it is lost. Because if it would, the only way it would have remained were it to have been given away. You understand? If there's something and we consume it, we took it, but we lost it. Because we lost the opportunity to give it to somebody else. And when you give it to somebody else, that's what makes it permanent. That's what makes the reward permanent. So when we think about what we do with our wealth, you ask yourself, just ask yourself a very simple question, what did I make last year? No, you don't even have to ask, the government requires you to fill it out and remind you. Now you look, you say, how much did I make? I made $60,000, let's say. Alright, then you ask yourself, how much did I give away in sadaqah? And the number is usually very small. It's a missed opportunity. All these things come in our mind that I need it for this and I need it for that, but we lost out on opportunity. So we as people, as believers, we should recognize that everything that Allah has given us, it's an opportunity. The wealth is an opportunity. The fact that there's a masjid available to us in our community, opportunity. The fact that there are scholars around us and we can learn from them, we can memorize Quran with them, we can learn tajweed from them, we can learn our deen from them, opportunity. The fact that we have excess wealth and we have the ability to make umrah regularly, but instead we choose to go other places, lost opportunity. The fact that we have food and we can fast and easily have a comfortable iftar. Easily. People in the past, they didn't fast because they were afraid they wouldn't get iftar. The question wasn't fasting, the question was what they would do for the iftar. And if we have loads of food, that we can have a nice suhoor and a nice iftar, and we don't fast, especially on those valuable days like Mondays and Thursdays, or the first 3 or the middle 3 or the last 3 of the month, or the first few days of Sha'ban, then we miss the opportunity. How many opportunities do we miss, and how often do we feel remorse? Fasting a few days after the month of Ramadan ends gives you an amazing reward. How many times have we taken advantage of that opportunity? I'tikaf is coming up. It's going to be in the summer break for most people. How many people are going to take advantage of that opportunity? How many people have planned to spend time in the masjid during those days? Most people, their business is something else. You want to ask yourself what your focus in life is? Just ask yourself how you judge your opportunities. If you think that if your focus is the deen, then when you lose opportunities in deen, you feel remorse. And if the focus is the dunya, then when you lose opportunities in the dunya, you feel remorse. It's very simple. Now the dunya can be very diversified. Some people, they feel they missed an opportunity when they couldn't go to the, baseball game. Some people, they feel they missed an opportunity when they couldn't make a transaction, when they couldn't get to the market, whatever it might be. But Allah has provided us with opportunities and we should take advantage of them. Our mashayikh, they're a very amazing opportunity. It doesn't come around all the time. People come and go. I constantly look at my teachers and ask the question, what's going to happen the day they're not there? How will I feel when I have not taken advantage fully of that opportunity? Parents are an opportunity. Do we take advantage of it? Do we call and ask how they're doing? Do we go and meet them? Do we greet them? Do we honor them? Do we treat them with respect? It's an opportunity. And when you lose it, you'll have tremendous remorse. Tremendous remorse. Because shaitan, he's such a despicable enemy. He deceives you, and the day you lose it, he splashes the pie in your face. He rubs his foot in your mouth to show you and make you realize that you actually lost something as well. The worst kind of friend. The worst enemy. He's your friend, and then when he turns on you, he makes it totally obvious that he turned on you. He rubs it in your face. So we have to be very cognizant of the opportunities that Allah has bestowed upon us, and we have to be very cognizant of taking advantage of those opportunities. Our teachers before us, the masjid in front of us, the wealth that Allah has given us, the relationships that we have been placed within, these are all opportunities. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who take advantage of these opportunities. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Salawat.